Hey everyone, we're going to jump right into this soap in a second, but I just want to mention quickly, I don't always have this lisp, but it will happen occasionally when my neck flares up from a previous accident. When my neck flares up, it sets my jaw off, and then my teeth don't match up. It just swells up, and it usually only lasts for a day or two, but this time it was a little bit longer. And so I waited a week and thought I better record anyway because I'm running out of time. So I apologize. This is a sort of fail. It's not a soap fail. The soap turns out just fine. It's just not what I would consider a true 3-color acorn swirl. It's not. It turns out okay, even pretty, but as somebody who's trying to demonstrate a 3-color acorn swirl, this one doesn't do a great job, so it fails at that. But I'm showing it anyway to you for the opportunity to show you what went wrong, so you can avoid it. I'm big on temperature pours, what temperature your soap is when you pour it, and timing and all of that. I harp on it a lot when I'm doing my videos typically, and then I go and mess it all up this time. So you want to pour your first color. You want to pour all the colors fairly low in temperature. Right here, you need to set a timer. You'll get to read a little bit about why and how I know how important it is, and you'll see the difference between this and my 2-color swirl. Things happen, and it's too easy to forget what the timing is. I planned on setting a timer, but I forgot to bring my phone with me to my soaping area, and then got distracted, as you will read, and then I make fun of myself a little bit because it was like moving chunks around with this. It really was. You want to, when you saw me poking the layer there with the back end of this little rubber spatula, and that's the texture you want for testing it, you want it to bounce a little bit. When I poked it with this, it was just like a dud. It was absolutely not fully set up, just really close to it because I waited too long. So typically you want to pour 120 or less for your first layer. You want to set a timer for 10 minutes and check and see if it has a thick enough skin, if it has a little bounce to it. If it ripples when you blow on it, it's not ready yet. People more often than not will pour too soon rather than too late. So I kind of went the other direction with this one. Then I'm going to pour with this one. I usually will pour it a little less hot. This one, I think I poured it like 116, 118, something like that. Well, maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, 117. There we go. And I could tell already when I came up and poked it that it was too far gone, but I wasn't going to remelt it and re-pour it. I wanted to see what I could do with it. And this is one of the things about this type of swirls. Any of them, you don't know what it's going to look like until you cut into it. So that's kind of part of the fun and part of the frustration sometimes. 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so is usually what it takes to get to that setup stage. That's correct. And I could tell the minute I was swirling this too, it was going to be difficult. It felt so set up. It wasn't completely, but it felt like it was really close to being nothing but other chunks. Then you're gonna want to set a timer the second time. For this, obviously I sped through this. I didn't want you to sit around again waiting for soap to set up. I poured this one a little hotter than I usually would pour the third layer. Apologize. Because I was so worried about how set up the other 2 layers were. One of the things you'll notice is that the procedure or techniques for the 2-color swirl and the 3-color swirl are identical. Everything is the same because you really do use 3 layers of soap in the 2-color swirl. All you do is you make it a different color instead of doing color 1 and then color 2 and then color 1 again. So, which is typically what an acorn swirl is. You alternate the colors. So in this one, I just added a different color. The other thing I did, because I was so panicked at that first layer being set up, is I did not choose the correct order. And I won't say there's no such thing as a correct order for the colors, but the order I wanted that I had planned out. Yeah, these are way more chunks. This one is so set up. This is where I really start to panic and wonder if it's going to be a soap at all that is doable. Yeah, I'm laughing now, but I was pretty panicked. I intended to do blue and then the clear and then the green on top, but obviously I didn't. I like to have the contrast of a clear layer of some kind, not usually fully clear, but fairly translucent or clear with glitter or a little bit of colorant, something in there, just because it really stands out against any opaque soap that you've used. I also try to choose contrasting colors. I will give this one another try. I've done them before and done just fine, but just not on video. I spritz the edges like that when it's time to unmold it, because it just makes it a lot easier. That's just it's something I really only do in my loaf molds, because that's the only time I have trouble pushing them out sometimes. So as you see, the back is really chunky. It like I say, it turns out just fine. But I'm not too thrilled when I'm looking at the edges there. It's an okay soap. The colors are pretty. It smells great. A lot of people would just love to just have a nice bar of soap with pretty colors in it and smells good. So there's really nothing wrong with it as a soap. Just not what I wanted. I was disappointed in it. And I'm beveling this edge here just because it's more difficult to cut. It's a little, janky at the top. So I bevel 2 of them on camera, and then I don't bevel the rest because I really don't like this one beveled. I usually prefer the beveled ones on my loaf soaps like this. I've been kind of leaning more toward that, but I don't know. I wasn't caring for it. What fragrance did I use for this? Oh, this was sweet mint blossom or sparkling mint blossom, something like that. It's a Bath and Body Works dupe. I will put the title. I don't know if I have a link to it. If I can find the link to it, I will send it to you, because I think I got this one from Aztec. I'm not sure. If I can find the link, I'll add it. If not, I'll at least put the name of it. I love this fragrance. It's become one of my fast favorites. It's just a very clean scent with kind of a hint of mint to it, a little bit sweet. To me, it's a very unisex type of fragrance. Pulling out here, just to mention here, a shout out to Uncle Andy's, because it is the very best soap cutter for melt and pour soap. I've seen many of you struggling with a wire cutter or a miter box or something like that. If you can get one, it took me a while to be able to save up to get one. They're not super cheap, but boy, they really do save a lot of frustration. It's the best way to get a really nice, clean, even cut, and you can alter the width of the cut. And I had mine messed up last time because I bumped it, and I got it fixed this time. So 6 even. Sorry, I have to let you read through this because this was fun. I just had to throw him under the bus because he really thought that wave was funny, and he did distract me from setting a timer. I said as we stopped the footage of that first layer, I'm going to go set a timer, because I knew I had forgotten my phone, and I intended to do it on film, and I didn't do it because I didn't bring my phone in. And as I'm walking out of the room, he calls me in to show me something, and it went completely out of my head. I was so mad at myself. Anyway, it's an okay soap. Doesn't really show up the sparkle on here, but I do have some close-ups that will show it off a little bit better, I believe. Sometimes I think with the swirls that actually are swirls and not just moving chunks around, I think the backs, the ends look a little bit better. These just kind of look like really messed up stripes. But when you actually get to where you're doing an acorn swirl and the timing is correct, I feel like it does a better job of both sides being pretty decent. The ends are always a little bit less exciting than the middle to me because they want to set up against the edges, and if you can scrape a little bit along the edge, you might avoid that, which I usually try to do, but this just wasn't moving. The sparkles, by the way, that I'm using in this is Mad Mica, and it's Sparkle Sunshine. It is my favorite. It looks like glitter. It's really not. It's considered a mica. And I forget the word that it's that certain flora, blah, 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 which is a synthetic mica, which is a good thing. I know that the word synthetic scares a lot of people, but it isn't always a bad thing. It is far better for it's cruelty free. It doesn't involve children mining mica. Also, it is sterile because it's not coming out of the ground, where other micas may not be cleaned properly, may contain heavy metals, etc., because it is coming out of the soil. And this is very clean product, and considered safe. So both for skin and for our sewer systems, etc. So that's my mica or glitter type of choice, are those types of sparkling micas. And as you see in this, I believe you can see it in this one, it really just looks like glitter, even though it's not. It's much softer than glitter too, so if you have people who are a little sensitive to regular glitter in a soap because it's a little too exfoliating or scratchy, this is not at all. At least not in my opinion, and I have pretty sensitive skin. So for those who don't know, again, I spray here just so you can kind of get a better image of the soap on camera. But I do spray my soaps after I unmold them because I live in Florida. It's very humid. I'll usually spray them with rubbing alcohol. I use 91% to 99% for this purpose. It depends on what I'm doing, which one I use. But it will help prevent glycerin dew, and it will dry up any that has already begun to form. It can certainly help do that. I also place them in front of a fan to do that and help with that. I hope you learned something from this mess, or at least enjoyed it and enjoyed my little, I won't call it a fail because like I say, they really are kind of pretty, particularly, wow, in these pictures. Up close, it kind of shows it a little better than the camera angle wasn't really picking it up great. So someday I'll get better at all of that. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you learned something, and hope to see you on my redemption video because I do plan on redeeming myself with this. Thanks. Bye.